The first time we ever prayed together, she prayed for me.
Oh my gosh.
I told her, this is what's going on in my life. It's bad. If once the world finds out, my life is over. My career's over. My livelihood was attached to whether people thought I was a Christian or not. What I shared with her was like embarrassing and painful and all that. She leaned across the table and she grabbed my hand and she just started praying for me. This is when we're still friends.
I think people believe that if they've been happily married for 10, 15, 20 years, that it doesn't really matter how they got together. Because you're telling me this married man came to you while he was cheating on his wife, and you didn't pray for his marriage, you prayed for him. She goes on to talk about how her biggest fear is being cheated on. So you married the man who cheated on his wife? I just feel like people think it doesn't matter as long as they're happy now. We all could have gone our entire lives not knowing this is how they got together, but they insist on telling us. And these men insist on saying it like it's some kind of humiliation ritual. Look at all I put her through, but she's still here. There is a viral clip of her talking about how he had to show her his divorce papers.
Yo, you got me out here looking crazy. Like, let me see the paperwork.
So you wanted to verify that the man that you were comforting and counseling when he was cheating on his wife wasn't also cheating on you. And of course, they put God in it. And they talked about how the old her would have been like, I'm not messing with no man who cheated on his wife. But this version of her was able to comfort him and to pray with him. It's like the pastor who earned her husband's clothes while he prepared to meet his mistress. They always act like God gave them the grace to deal with these flawed men. I'm sure they think their marriage is beautiful. But some of these
I came across that video of Adrienne and her husband. The very first question that crossed my mind is, why do these people see the need to say stuff? Like, why do they see the need to tell all of these things in public? Do they think it's something so nice to hear? Do they think it is something people want to hear? Because at this point, I just do not understand how these people don't find some of the information that they share to the public very disgusting. That is Adrienne. Watch the reel, you will probably know her. She is the same person who broke up with Rob at that time because he was cheating. Just to get with a man that was cheating on his wife, and people are not having it. They are currently being dragged. There's so many things to even unpack on some of the clips. That from the marriage stuff, how the man even, presented himself, how he didn't feel any remorse. But I want you guys to hear what people are saying about this whole thing before we come back and talk about it.
Adrienne, my cheetah sister, next time, do us all a favor and leave him at home. Some things we just don't need to know. You being the woman that Israel ran to vent to after he cheated on his previous wife was not something we needed to know. Especially when we know that you used to stalk him while he was in that marriage. Mind you, I love a good love story, but unfortunately this one right here is just not romantic enough for me. Just because prayer was involved doesn't mean it was romantic. For Adrienne to be as gorgeous as she is, I never expected her to be the type to wait around. And you cannot tell me that's not what she did. The girl waited around for her turn. You married a man who cheated on his previous wife, and you were the woman he came to talk to about it. Do you know how down bad do you have to be to tolerate something like that? This man fathered 2 children on his previous wife. What makes you think he's not going to do it to you?
You mean to tell me Adrienne Bailon and Israel Houston got up here on this, was it like podcast interview or whatever, and talked about the way that they met and everybody's just like upset? Or how they got together, rather. So apparently the story kind of went such like, he was telling her everything that he was going through in his life. He was such in a bad place and how the gospel industry was going to look at him differently, all this stuff, right? And she asked to pray for him. And everybody's like, she knew that he was in a situation where he had cheated on his wife and she had asked to pray for him, not for his marriage, da 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 da. Let me just say this, okay? I think people need to stop sharing their stories about how they got together. Please stop doing that. Please stop doing that. The second thing that I want to say is, y'all are so shocked. I want y'all to know, as somebody who grew up in church, it's a lot of women in church that move like that. It's a lot of women in church that is waiting for the perfect excuse to take your man. They're looking for the perfect excuse to jump in and be like, oh, really? Let me pray for you because I'm a good woman in Christ and I'm just here and I just love the Lord and I might find you attractive a little bit too. So we're going to see what's going to happen. I'm telling y'all, I've seen that my whole life growing up in church. So this is not new to me. I think it's like new to y'all, like seeing this and this factor. But like, it's not something that's new that happens in church. Like this happens quite often. And it's kind of embarrassing. Like, stories like this are like kind of embarrassing because people want to bring God into it, but it's also like, where is your integrity? Because you know that man was like involved with somebody else. So I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But let this be a story to keep your relationship offline. If
Watching Adrienne and her husband's interview, I realized that men love to say, oh, I was born with sin, that's why I fuck up the way I fuck up, instead of literally taking responsibility and owning up to it. That man said nothing and said everything at the same time. One thing I know for sure is the fact that, like, I don't think he thinks he did anything wrong. He thinks like this is the way life was supposed to play out, and he's just happy. When he literally, the only expectation was for him to keep his vows to his wife of 20 years. And for him to stand 10 toes down and be worried about his career and how the world would perceive him is wild. It's not wild, it's very man of him. That's how men think. They're worried about, oh, are we gonna have a great day if we're not good? They're worried about themselves than the person they actually hurt. And I also believe he manipulated Adrienne into that marriage. I don't care what anyone says. I think he manipulated, because the way he was like, oh, I told her what I had done, and she prayed for me. Why are you not talking to your wife? And why didn't Adrienne be like, like, go sit with the Lord, figure that out. I'm gonna go find your wife and pray with her. I live in a small town, and there was a man who did that same exact thing. So this is not something new. Men do it all the time, where they're married, their marriage is on the rocks, they're talking to another woman, they're telling this woman, oh, my marriage is ending, my marriage is ending. Also, they were dating way before the marriage ended. They were not divorced. Also, separated is not divorce. You should never be dating anyone who's separated. They're still married. They're still married in body, soul, and paper. Watching that interview, I was like, ill. Performative at best. Gross, ill. And for them to just like put Jesus over it, band-aid it. All that to say, all of that was ill. I love Adrienne down bad forever because cheetah girls, cheetah sisters. But a girl, like, did you just want a title of a family and a husband? Him? And for this man to say, oh, like, I was a super Christian, like, I'm human. No one wanted you to be a super Christian. We wanted you to keep your vows. Did I already say that? I think I did. And for you to be married 9 months later, after being married 20, it's crazy. I don't trust men as far as I can. Well, I can't even throw them, so there's that. Also, he told secrets. He was like, oh, I just knew when we met. I mean, when we got married that, this is the person for me. No, baby. Y'all were talking. Y'all were being messy around. Because why is this girl... The first time you tell her she wants to pray for you instead of go to check on And I feel like that man met her when she was so vulnerable, and he slid right in. And she was like, oh, this is what I have always wanted, This man, never mind. Mind you, and he's a holy man. I'm going to tell you, never mind.
Adrienne. I was someone that was obsessed with The Real because I loved watching the show. I loved watching the ladies, and it's something that I always wanted to do myself. And while I didn't necessarily agree with Adrienne's points all the time, I thought she was really solid. She's been married to Israel for some time now, and I think that they feel comfortable sharing different details about the things that they, got going on. But I remember her trying to clear up the fact that he wasn't really married when they got together. Now we can only take her word for it. Lonnie is very expressive. If you watch the show, Lonnie's very expressive, and during that time, Lonnie was silent. Now, again, I can't say that Lonnie. I do want to say that I think Lonnie knew the truth, and everybody's kind of like, okay, girl. But Adrienne does strike me as the type of person that says stuff, and then she just expects you to believe it. Like, she just is like, they filed under their initials. Whatever. You like it. I love it. She was always very big on like no cheating. And so it was interesting when she got with Israel, because I'm like, yo, like this man cheated on his wife. Multiple baby mamas. It just felt like, I don't know. And I think she knew the wife. The wife is keeping it very classy. She's never really come out and said anything against Adrienne. I don't even think the kids have said anything against Adrienne. She's probably a lovely woman, but every time people see them, there is a side eye. Just because of that history, it's just tainted. And then it's really hard to trust a couple, especially if he just got divorced and then y'all are just getting married or just getting together. There always seems to be some sort of overlapping. So it's not hard to believe that people feel like if you just cheated on your wife, it's not going to be hard to put two and two together to feel like, okay, well, he cheated on his wife and then got with you immediately. I don't know. It's just something where it rubs people weird. But now seeing that you pray for this man, I don't know, man. I'm not against prayer. I'm not against church. I'm not against any of that type of stuff. But something about these church couples, whenever they, besides Kev on stage and his wife, but a lot of these church couples, man, it just, everything seems so performative, and again, who am I? I'm just somebody that watches them and just seen from a distance and afar, but praying over this man, like, not the wife. I mean, not the woman that was actually traumatized is a choice, but hey.
There is a lot of things to break down from this interview. But I feel like the part that has got people talking is the part where, this man had revealed that she was praying for him, that he had cheated on his previous wife. And that is absolutely insane. If you watch the interview, just look at her body language and look at her face. Like, she feels like she did not want that man to tell that story. She feels so uncomfortable, because people have been speculating that you actually wanted this man. You were spying on this man. Like, you wanted that. She was not praying as in the praying for this man. She was praying on the man. So this is exactly what people are saying. Like, now it is out. Now we are not wrong. Now what we have been saying is true, because in saying this literally confirmed what so many of us have been talking about. From her face, you can tell that she was so uncomfortable sharing their story, because why is a married man even coming to you or having even a single friend when this same single friend, left her own previous partner due to infidelity? How are you okay settling with infidelity when that is the same thing? When that is the same thing you left your previous relationship for. Like, and I think there was a particular time where Adrienne as well confessed that she had hidden cameras to, spy on him to know if he's cheating before she accepted the proposal. It is insane. And just watching the entire thing, like, nah. And she's so freaking pretty to be doing all of that. Like, at this point, it is insane. A married man, a pastor, having a single friend that they have confiding in about cheating. Like, the bar is low, you guys. There is another thing that man mentioned, even in that clip when he was telling that story, that I do not see a lot of people talk about. And if you're able to catch it in their clip as well, let's talk about it in the comment section, because it talked about how he is being perceived and how that is going to affect his paycheck. That man said his livelihood depends on whether or not people believe that he's a Christian. And that statement is a huge confirmation of the type of person that he is, because literally he's talking like pastoring to him is a business. Like, that is another level to see it, where if he can be a cheat, why do you want to believe him on the other side? Like, I'm just saying, but I want to hear what you guys think. Because even while he was saying that story, he as well shared his inner thoughts at that moment. He revealed that he was more concerned about how the people around the world are going to see him and how that is going to affect his income. So if you are a pastor, you are more concerned about how you're being perceived and your paycheck. 2 + 2 is 4. At this point, it's not making sense. Like, it's really not making sense. If we are being honest, it's not making any sense. I don't know why a lot of people are not talking about that, but a lot of people are just bringing up the fact that this woman was praying for him after he had cheated on his previous wife and after she herself left her previous relationship because the man she was with was cheating. I want to kind of ask a question in a sense, because this man is a pastor. You know, at the end of the day, they will say, God do this. Even when she was like speaking or just adding her own point to the story that that man had said, she was like, it's something I would normally not do, but God, it was God at that moment because I could only be God at that moment. Is God actually in unions like this, or are these people just lying to our faces? Are they just trying to lie their way out of everything? Are they the safe face? Because at this point, I do not understand. Like, if she said that it was God speaking to her to hold a man that just cheated on his wife and pray for him and not the marriage, that is seen beyond the cheating, like it's not the actions that he had committed. Like, you guys, the interview, it's absolutely insane. I want you guys to watch that interview, and I want you guys to watch the part where he had mentioned about how, you know, being a Christian and being seen in the world and how that affects, you know, his paycheck. I really want you guys to listen to how all of those have been addressed. Video. If you have the time, please check the video out. Let me know what you guys think. Because I mean, the kind of partner that you will leave after they are cheated depends on who the person is, or depends on your level of love for them. So is the cheating for her really a deal breaker? Like, is it really a deal breaker because she had left her previous partner because he cheated and she couldn't get past the infidelity, just to settle for someone who, you know, have this same infidelity problem? In fact, confiding in you, telling you all his cheating story. Like, I really want to hear what you guys think about this whole thing. People are not having it. People are telling her to stand the F up. Like, stand up, sis. Like, just stand up. It's not making sense. I just have a problem with how they think that this is one information that people want to know. Like, how they don't even find this type of information within themselves disgusting, and, you know, sharing it to people to hear. There's nothing interesting to hear about it. That is not a great dynamic. That is not a great story. Especially calling from somebody who called himself a man of God. At the end of the day, this man did not take accountability. I don't even think he felt any remorse for anything he had done. He just said everything brought him here. There's a lot of problem in that podcast, you guys. I'm not joking. You guys need to go check it out. There is a lot of problem in everything that they were saying. There's a lot of problem in the conversation that they had. But I want to hear what you guys think about it all in the comment section. I hope you guys are able to get the summary that I'm able to give you guys. But if you want to watch the full thing, please go check it out. Like, you are even going to get more things because there's just a lot to unpack. Let me hear what you think in the comment section. I will see you all in the next one.